The House of Representatives has passed the big, beautiful bill. We're going to cover that later, especially the $6,000 tax deduction that's set for Social Security recipients. Critics are left stunned as President Trump gets some amazing job numbers, and a huge announcement from the White House leaves many speechless.
On this vote, the yeas are 218, the nays are 214. The motion is adopted.
And just like that, the big, beautiful bill makes its way to President Trump, who we all expect to sign. Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries did their best to try and stall the bill's passing, even going as far as doing a speech for more than 7 hours.
Mr. Speaker, we're not here to bend the knee to any wannabe king. We're here to be a rival to the executive branch in the best spirits of the House of Representatives. Push back against an out-of-control executive branch. That's the framers' vision. And so as we prepare to take this consequential vote, Mr. Speaker, I just urge many of my colleagues in government, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker, we don't work for President Trump.
No. That's right.
We don't work for J.D. Vance.
No. That's right.
We don't work for Elon Musk.
That's right.
Mr. Speaker, as all of us prepare to cast this vote, I hope my Republican colleagues will come to the conclusion that we work for the American people. We work for the American people. We don't work for any president. We work with American presidents. We work for the American people. Mr. Speaker, this is extraordinary. This assault on everyday Americans, assault on children, veterans, seniors, people with disabilities. It's incredible to me. All of this in this one big, ugly bill.
Take your time.
Ripping food away from children, literally ripping food out of the mouths of hungry children, hungry veterans, and hungry seniors.
But Congress has spoken, and it doesn't matter if you're like Jeffries, who can talk for 7 or 8 hours, or even Cory Booker, who did it for more than a day without going to the restroom. The fact is that this bill has now passed, and there's nothing that Tamo Obama or any other Democrat can do at this point. Now, the bill does include something that means a lot for many Americans. Besides removing taxes on tips, it includes a clause that basically gives many on Social Security a $6,000 tax exemption. It's being called a bonus for seniors and affects individuals with up to $75,000 in modified adjusted gross income and $150,000 if married and filing jointly. This senior deduction is temporary and will last from this year to 2028's tax year. The working class can also expect a huge boost from the bill, given that again, tips will no longer be taxed.
Millions of tipped workers such as servers, bartenders, and hairdressers could soon be able to deduct their tipped income wage from their taxable wages now that the federal bill is passed.
The 887-page approved bill has the potential to impact millions of Americans, including new federal tax breaks for workers who earn tips and overtime pay for tax years 2025 to 2028. A reconciliation bill includes a $25,000 cap on the amount of tips workers can claim in their tax deductions. In addition, the Senate bill provisions would allow the first $12,500 extra overtime pay deductible. Both deductions are eligible for individuals with a $150,000 income limit.
The win was also acknowledged by President Trump, with Congress narrowly avoiding his set deadline of July 4th.
I think when you go over the bill, it was very easy to get him to a yes. You know, we went over that bill, and point after point, biggest tax cut in history, great for security, great on the southern border, immigration is covered. We covered just about everything. Again, it's the biggest bill ever signed of its kind. Well, I talked to a lot of different Republicans in doing it, and we had a good time in being there. I did not have much of a problem with any of them. As you know, we had 2 negative votes, but we had whatever it was, the final vote. Yeah, I think a few of them I did, but I think they would have gone yes anyway. No deals, no deals. What I did is we talked about how good the bill is. I mean, that's a deal, I guess, when you think about it, but obviously convince them, but it was not hard. This is a great bill. This is going to be a great bill for the country.
Since we're talking about growth, let's talk about the job numbers. For an economy that Democrats so badly wanted to fail, the numbers don't seem to be adding up for them.
The newly released June jobs report hiring shattered expectations, easy for me to say. 147,000 jobs added just last month. Unemployment also ticked down to 4.1%. Let's bring in Stephen Myron, Council of Economic Advisors Chairman. Stephen, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So 147,000 jobs beating expectations. What's your analysis of it?
This was a great report. And, you know, it's the 4th time in a row the president has beat expectations on Jobs Day, four times in a row. And not only did he beat expectations, but he beat the forecast for 78 out of 79 professional economists that submitted their forecast to the Bloomberg consensus. So that means the president is once again proving that the haters and the doomsayers don't know what they're talking about.
Some critics of the president's policies were worried that tariffs may have an impact on hiring. Is this your sense that tariffs so far have not had an impact on hiring?
I think there's absolutely no evidence that there's been an impact on hiring. I think there's no evidence there's been an impact on prices either. The job creation numbers continue to move along decently from month to month. There's no macroeconomic significant evidence of inflation in goods and imported goods from tariffs. In fact, inflation has been running at a 1.5% rate since the president took office, which is actually well below where the Fed wants it to be.
Here's the truth when it comes to these tariffs. The president used them as a means to get countries onto the negotiation table. He announced such wild numbers that world leaders had no choice but to get on the phone and hash out a deal. And as we can see, the numbers speak for themselves. Moving on, you're not going to believe what President Trump just announced. Now, we know that he's close with UFC's Dana White, but we didn't know that they were this close.
Dana White, we're going to have a UFC fight. We're going to have a UFC fight. Think of this on the grounds of the White House. We have a lot of land there. We're going to build a little. We're not. Dana's going to do it. Dana's great, one of a kind. Going to have a UFC fight, championship fight, full fight, like 20, 25,000 people. And we're going to do that as part of 250 also. We're going to have some incredible events, some professional events, some amateur events. But the UFC fight's going to be a big deal, too. And
now we know that he doesn't joke around much with these announcements, but I'd love to get your take on everything we just talked about, especially the UFC fight within the White House. Would any of you watch a fight there? Now, if you got any value from this video, I urge you to subscribe so that I can keep you informed with the daily dose of the truth. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.